Well, you know, when you are creatively bankrupt with everything that you've been coming out and every decision that you've made in a long time, what do? We always go back to the classics, the ones that actually performed well when you weren't in charge. Now, what we have to talk about today is a new announcement from Disney because since they have acquired Pixar and they're no longer separate entities. Yes, of course, what they have to do, they have to go back and announce that they're making a sequel to Coco 2 because why? They had sequels from Pixar things that have done really well recently, and that's the only thing they can fall back on. Let's go back into it right now. Coco 2 is set for a 2029 release. Now, I don't really know how many people still talk about Coco to this day, but 4 years from now, if it's releasing, I'm assuming that will probably be towards the end of the year and the latter half of the year. I don't know how much hype this is really going to garner because you have just now announced it, which means you have just now had the epiphany pop off in your head. The light bulb finally went off, and Disney CEO Bob Iger announced the follow up film during the company's annual shareholder meeting because you got to look at Pixar's Inside Out 2. You got to look at what The Incredibles 3 did, the sequel, which is clearly in the development process, early in the development process, but also clearly very early in the development process. It's slated for theatrical release in 2029, and plot details haven't been released or revealed because they haven't been written yet. It's just like, oh, you know what? That thing did really well. That thing is beloved by the people who saw it. It was actually a breakout hit and made a couple of Academy Awards. And you know what? Even though that Gail Garcon Bayanes, whatever that dude's name is, absolutely butchered the live rendition of the song that won an Oscar for an original song, even though he did that live, everyone still actually loves the movie. So let's just go ahead and move forward with that. You know, whatever. People will forget while the film is just in the initial stages, we know it will be full of humor, heart, and adventure because that's all Coco was in the beginning. Humor, heart, and adventure. Maybe Disney, maybe what you should be focusing on instead of doing remakes of stuff that you know is going to get people's in the seats, because let's be honest, the average audience goer isn't necessarily very smart. Maybe you should be making new films and new storylines that still just go to humor, heart, and adventure and not all your other bullcrap that you put into it. I think everyone could have said this a long time ago, and they haven't made any adjustments whatsoever. We can't wait to share more soon. Well, as soon as you have something to share, I'm sure you will. And that is also a problem because I don't think they realize the PR nightmares that Disney has been going through for years and years and years now. Do not announce things the second that you even come up to a halfway decision on it, because it will get roasted and picked apart. Why not work on it behind the scenes? Not why not, you know, have your brainstorming sessions, have your writing sessions, have your editing and revising sessions. That's the most important thing about all of that. And when you actually have something stable in the ground, this is rock solid. Our foundation is cement. It is dried. There are no longer leaves falling on it, branches falling off and making indentations. There are no longer kids from the streets like, ooh, wet cement. I'm going to put my fingerprints in there. It'll just be like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Why not just wait until everything is set in stone before you announce anything? It's going to draw a pipe that everyone is going to forget about in such a small amount of time because nobody trusts you anymore. Now, here's the one thing that they have to put out. Yes, we have to throw little Easter eggs out there. The original Coco director, Lee Unkrich, is returning to direct with Adrian Molina and Mark Nielsen, the guy who put out Toy Story 4, completely unnecessary, and Inside Out 2, which came out last year and actually became the highest grossing American animated film. He will produce it. So he does have people already signed on to come back, but they don't have a story. They don't have anywhere to go with the character of Miguel because the original 2017 film became a critical and commercial smash, winning 2 Oscars, grossing over 800 million with inflation. Boom, way over $1 billion at the global box office. The story follows Miguel, who dreams of playing the guitar despite his family's generations old band on music. And if you watch the movie, I actually highly suggest this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's actually a really heartfelt movie. But that is what Disney, that's what Pixar, since Disney has taken it over, has completely lacked the entire time. Pixar used to always be heartfelt. There was always something that like just gut wrenching, like just rends at your heart. They haven't had that since Disney took them over. It's been flop after flop after flop. And then guess what? Now, whenever they do Inside Out 2, something that Pixar did on their own right before the buyout. Oh, that did really well because they just let them do it their own thing. Now, I know John Lasseter isn't there anymore, and that really, really freaking sucks because you say whatever you want. He was the heart and soul of Pixar. Remember Me is the one that is the song. Yeah, before I scroll down too much. Remember Me was the song that Gail Garson, whatever his name was, absolutely butchered. And here's where we just go into a little bit of why they're deciding to do this. Because Pixar's sweet spot in recent years has been sequels to beloved properties. That's the only thing they can do anymore. They are no longer Imagineers. They are no longer have imagination. It's just what can we do with things that have already succeeded whenever we didn't have control over them. Good on you, Bob Iger. Inside Out 2, Incredibles 2, and Incredibles 3. The follow-up to Incredibles was the highest grossing animated film in history at the time with $1.24 billion until last year. Now, the original stories, once Disney had like authority over Pixar, Elemental, Lightyear, they were throwing that DEI stuff in there. Those all flopped. I wonder why. Now they're working on follow-ups like Toy Story 5, yet another completely uncalled for, unwarranted, and unwanted film. Oh, Incredibles 3 hasn't come out. I thought it had. Or maybe it had been announced a long time ago and we haven't heard anything about it. Now we have new tales, including Elio and Hoppers. Has we heard anything about that? Not. I mean, Elio and Hoppers sounds like two versions of an animated helicopter, and they just tried to make it into two films. I would not put that past them whatsoever. But if you guys have heard anything about this, I said that we're going to be quickies today. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it. It's looking around 7.5 minutes right now. Leave it down in the comments section below. I don't trust anything that's coming out of these people. However, just because you pay attention to this stuff, because you know more, a lot of the normal audience actually doesn't pay attention to us. They don't pay attention to everything that's going behind the scenes. They believe, full part and parcel, the marketing that goes on, what they see on their TV shows, what they see on their advertisements. Everyone needs to wake up. But if it's good, it's good. Call a spade, call balls and strikes, all you want. That's what we're actually here to do. If something is good, I will give it praise. If something absolutely sucks, well, you know where I go with that. I just use a lot of slurs. This is Malty from Mouth of Malty. Y'all have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.